Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. This is the second time I'm coming live to you today, but this time it's a bit sweeter because I have my co-host back with me. We had the Commonwealth game in the morning, and that was a really good game. And in the night, in the evening, it was the India versus West Indies T20. A dominant performance from India in the end. It looked like at one stage they'd make 150, 160, but Dinesh Karthik, the guy who don't have in my T20 11 in the World Cup 11, has come and played a fantastic knock, and he's really putting his case now to play not only in the squad but in the 11 in the T20 World Cup. Another fluent innings which actually changed the game on its head, and then the Indian bowlers, in particular the spinners, did the job. I have with me Abrar Aziz, my co-host. How are you, man? And how did you enjoy that game?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And just a quick thought on the women's game as well. I think that they put up a very good fight, but unfortunately, the Aussies was just too strong in the end. I think the
Yeah.
whole overall the batting innings and the bowling innings also, to till the end was pretty good. But some these Aussies are just something else, especially the women's team is. But I think that they'll take a lot of heart from this, and hopefully, they can come up with some good performances in the upcoming games. Coming back to India and West Indies, I think I've been talking about Dinesh Karthik. I know you and me, we don't have a lot of difference of opinions in our cricketing analysis, but I think when we do, it's pretty strong. And I've always vouched for DK, and I know you've been a little against him. So my analysis is coming right, Musti. So I just want to say, told you so. But yeah, I think DK
Yeah,
really
I have
changed
to
it up.
put my hand up there. I honestly don't see. I still don't see him in the T20 squad, but I can't really. I mean, in the 11, but like I can't really argue against with what he did today. Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. See, because I think Virat takes Shreyas's place, and then you still have a very able player in KL that will miss out because who else will you replace him with? So that's the option. Because if you're going to keep punt, then DK will have to make way for KL because that's the only option that they really have. So it's hard. It's not going to be easy. But that will be a decision that team management and the captain will have to make. And I think everyone else almost picks itself because Hardik picks himself, Jaddu picks himself because of the all-round capabilities. I think Surya Kumar is now hard to drop because of his fantastic century as well. And I think he's just that all-round player that you want to have in that middle order. Virat, because Virat of his old capabilities, and Rishabh Pant can win you a game on any day. So it's going to be, I think, a toss-up between KL and DK. I'm to be honest, but it's going to be very difficult to make that decision. And thank God you and me don't have to make that decision because it's either way. I think it's going to be very upsetting for one of them to miss out on. But I think like overall, I think it's a very good headache to have. I think that this is excellent. I think DK is just time and again proving that it's going to be hard to drop him from the 11 now because he's done it. He's doing it consistently now. The problem I think in the past was he'd have one good innings and then he'd like kind of subtle, kind of just taper off a little bit and then kind of come back again after those. He get dropped and he'll come back again and all so on and so forth. It's kind of been the case for him in the past, like I think from 2005, 2006 to about 15, 16. But I think after that, after the personal issues and everything, I think he's cleaned everything up and he's looking in the form of his life now. So it's beautiful to see him like that because I'm a big fan of DK. So it's nice for me to see him like that, and I really hope that he can give a little bit more to Indian cricket before he signs off. And I think a cup would be beautiful for that, the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, like more on DK, we will discuss that because I think, like you said, it's a very important position. For me, I still do have different thoughts to you for him in the 11.
Yeah.
And it's not to do with age because of course, I've mentioned before, you should give youngsters the chance and everything like that. But I'm looking at Dinesh Karthik in particular, and I feel that even if he has a really good Asia Cup, I still have my doubts because I've seen him smash it in the Nidas Trophy, then go to the 2019 World Cup, and
Struggle.
again, it's that thing. It's not like he plays every game, but when he does play, he doesn't perform, and sometimes he doesn't play. It's still unsettled with him. And if you're saying again that he's not guaranteed a start, then it messes up his flow again, right? And then also another thing that I noticed with Dinesh Karthik, yes, it was a great innings today and everything. It wasn't against the greatest attack in the world, but it was still a very, very good innings, and the pitch was. Wasn't the easiest, but it was more Indian type pitch, I would say, right? A bit slow, a bit
Yeah.
low. But the thing is, again, it's those particular last 4 5 overs. How does he play? If required to play, the last 10 overs, how does he play it then? How does he play the spinners in particular? That's something that I want to see. And then Australian pitches. I think I lost Don for a bit, but on Australian grounds, the size of the ground is going to be really big. Can you hear me, Don?
Yeah. Sorry, I lost you there. So
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so the size of the Australian ground is going to be different as well. Will he be able to clear that as easily as he's clearing these ones? That's just I have particular questions about him, but that doesn't mean to say what he's doing right now is not crazy. He's doing a really good job, and he's in really good form.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we can agree to disagree. It's usually it happens rarely amongst the two of us. We usually tend to agree on a lot of things. I don't know if the light is an issue. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what's going on,
No, but in
but
this one, you have a much stronger case than me. Normally, I have a stronger case than you, but this time you have a much stronger case than me because you have the numbers to back it up, right?
yeah.
And if you don't take him, or if he doesn't play, and somebody in that position doesn't perform, you're gonna come back to me and say, "See, you should have taken him. He was hitting, right?" So you have the case file ready.
Yeah. So I guess, like I said, I think
How
I'm.
does that work? How does that work? You're backing DK because he has the numbers, right? If he wasn't performing right now, if he didn't score this, you wouldn't back him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Would
Of
you?
course, of course. No, no,
So then, how
absolutely
does
not.
that work with Virat Kohli? Can you please explain?
Virat
I'm very
Kohli's run
curious.
71
I'm
centuries,
not trying
man.
to put you in a tough
71
spot.
centuries. 71 centuries says a lot and gives him that opportunity to take a little bit longer. Because he's done it in the past. And I think from the time he's broken into the Indian side as a mainstay, which is I think around the 20 he was in the 2011 World Cup, but I think that time was a little bit different for him. But I think it took him a year or so. I
2012.
think
Let's say that
was
Australia, that Australia match, the match against Sri Lanka in Australia,
that
that
he
100,
performed well, yeah. So
and then
that's
the Asia
10
Cup.
good, yeah. Then that's 10 good years that he's given you. Well, I know from 2019 it's been bad, but that's 8 good years that he's given you from 2011 to 2019. If you really look at it from a highest point, he scored 71 centuries in that time. 71 centuries is just blows my mind. It's almost like a Sachin Tendulkar kind of a situation. So I think like and the year we keep talking about he hasn't scored a century since 2019. Most of 2020 no one played cricket because of COVID, right? There was very minimal amount of games. So you knock 2021 2020 out, right? There's 1 year he hasn't scored. I agree, it's still from his high standards is extremely high, but I still think that Virat Kohli, the upside, like Ricky Ponting said, the upside of a Virat Kohli changing and getting you runs is just massive. It's just massive. Someone like anybody else in that Indian side that is not doing well, that's it. They would not take that put. But for Virat, I'm just saying it is what it is. Like it's just I can't miss out on that. And Virat, I mean, I'm as big a fan of Virat as anyone, and this, being a big fans of Virat. I'm a big fan of Indian cricket in general, but I think Virat is one of those up there for me. So I'm gonna back him till he decides to quit.
That's no, that's some good points there. I will ask you a question towards the end of the pod, which is a bit more general. But now let's just focus a bit more on the game.
The game,
India
yeah.
scoring 190. They lost wickets in between. Rohit Sharma got off a good start. Good start. He scored a good 50. But Pant struggled a bit. Surya Kumar, like you said, I think off air that he was trying a bit hard. But that six that he hit, he sold me, bro. He
He got
sold me on
six.
that six.
No,
For me,
but can you explain to me why tinker around with the 11 when Suryakumar is doing well at 4 and Punt is doing all right at opening spot? Why would you tinker around with that? Any thoughts behind that?
who was the opening batsman who was supposed to open in this series?
Punt, Punt and Rohit. They did the last series as well.
So Don, that was also a tinker, right? In the England series, they tinkered with that. So I think he's just trying different
Different
slots because I
ideas.
don't think Pant is going to be the regular opener. Just that's what I feel
Yeah, it's waiting for Kale to
because
come
then,
back.
he gave you that 100 batting at number 4-5, even though it was a 1 day. But
Yeah.
again, like maybe that he's trying to tinker here. I think he's
I
just trying
just
out
yeah,
different stuff.
I just feel like Punt will be better off as the opener because Punt can he can have a few miscues initially in his innings, and those
And he
miscues can go above the inner circle and give him that extra life, every now and again, and that's something that Punt will give you. So I think that will help him in the first few overs because Suryakumar doesn't need that. Suryakumar is just too good a batsman. He'll find the from ball one, he'll find the gaps because he's that technically beautiful. I think if anyone after Virat that I am a big fan of, I think is Surya Kumar. I think Sky
yeah.
is probably right up there with his technique and with his, I guess, ability to be able to be score beautiful runs. So for me, that's why I don't think he needs to have that opening. He can come in at 4-5 and still give you the same quality.
His downfall and his upside is this. For me, it's very similar. He has 3 or 4 shots for every ball. That's his upside and that's his downside also. Because that shot he played today,
Good
there
point.
was no reason to play it over there. He could have just like tried to cut it over point or just leave it or straight bat it. He didn't really, or he could have even pulled it. But he went for that shot, and but then
It's a
again,
pretty
if you see
solid
how
point.
it was
Yeah.
that six, he didn't need to hit that six over there. He could have hit it
What a
over straight.
shot, bro! Oof.
Yeah, he didn't need, but yeah, and that shows that he has the ability to hit it anywhere at the park. But that can also be a downside because you start playing shots to balls where it becomes high risk kind of cricket, which it
Yeah,
looks amazing when it's comes
and
off,
it
but if
pays
it doesn't,
off.
yeah. But I think that's where his consistency lacks. But I think he's the best batsman in the Indian team right now, just on skill. Like
Yeah.
in T20 cricket, I just feel that he can just smash it anywhere.
Yeah, beautiful, just beautiful. I think a little bit more consistency, and I think we have a player on our hands. The only problem is he's 31, 32. I think he has 3, 4 years of good cricket left in him to give to the Indian side. So it seems like a little too less for someone as talented as Kai. But it is what it is. I think hopefully we'll find other talented players for sure. But I think
Yeah,
that would be a little unfortunate. But yeah, I think
yeah,
coming to the bowling, I think the bowlers have been consistently performing well for India. I think Arshdeep today picking up a wicket or two. Ash, my boy, is back. You know how a big fan of Ash I am, and it clearly shows that the moment is the UAE has come into the picture. Obviously, Ash now suddenly gets precedence because he brings in that capability of giving you a good 3, 4 overs of tight bowling, which the batsman might find hard to get away with, and he might not need to take the wickets. But the tightness. I think the mistake that they made last time was they went to too much mystery in Ash and Varun. And I think right now, Chahal will get you those wickets, and Ash and Chahal could be a good combination to have. And Jaddu is also, picking up his bowling. He can give you a couple overs. Hardik can give you a couple overs, and then you just only need Bhuvi and Bumrah to be good at it, and that's it. You're done. And then the likes of Arshdeep, the likes of uh, what's his name, Avesh, Shami will probably make the 15. These guys are solid players, to have in the squad in case someone like a Bhuvi or a Bumrah gets injured. But I think it's a pretty solid setup. I think there were issues of who'll make the 11. I think the 11 kind of picks itself. I think the who'll make the 15 is also starting to pick itself now. And I think the Asia Cup will be a good barometer to kind of make that final one or two places that are maybe still in doubt. I think that Asia Cup will sort that out for them.
yeah, 100%. Arshdeep, the first two balls that he bowled, including the
4 and
whites, the first three
6.
balls,
Three,
yeah,
yeah.
I said this is what should happen to him. That's what I felt like. I felt like this guy should get hit. Just the way, but then the way he
Come
came
back.
back, he's proven me wrong from day one. When I saw him, I'm like, this guy, like even for Punjab, every match, I'm like, this guy's the bull to target. But he just comes up with something. I don't know. Again, he got smashed, and then suddenly he bowled this delivery. It stopped on the batsman. I don't know what happened. The shot he
Yeah.
played Myers, and he got the wicket.
He's with due respect to Shardul Thakur, I think he's a better version of Shardul Thakur when it comes to bowling. Shardul will
Bowling.
give you that, yeah. Shardul will give you a little bit more on the bat also. Maybe Arshdeep will not give you that, but I think Arshdeep is that kind of, and even a Harshal Patel. Like these guys,
Yeah.
you feel like when you see them play that they probably should get smashed, but they
Yeah.
have the variations that we can't see from the TV, that we probably even won't be able to see live. We probably have to play them to really understand those variations, because they are outfoxing almost the top of the top batsmen to the slightly weaker sides also. So they are doing something correctly, and we've been proven wrong. I've been talking about Harshal getting backed around. I told him he's a one season wonder, but he's made the Indian side. He's fantastic. He's phenomenal, and we have to respect that. And I have to put my hand up. I have made my mistakes, like you made your mistake with DK. I've made my mistake with Harshal.
Yeah, even with Arshdeep, he's really proven me wrong, and I feel that now he has a strong case to make because he's also a left arm option, right? He gives you that angle.
Absolutely.
We see
Yeah.
India have struggled with left arm bowlers, but so do other teams, and
Yeah,
that's
we
where
brought in we brought in a Nattu for a bit, but Nattu's injuries have been a big problem, and I think
yeah,
Arshdeep comes in and takes
yeah,
care of that aspect, gives a
yeah.
different dimension completely.
Yeah, and you talk about India like struggling against left arm swing, which is true. But India also had their share of left arm seamers who caused trouble, whether it's Zahir Khan, Ashish Nehra, Irfan Pathan. They've caused trouble to all sorts
Yeah,
of teams,
yeah.
whether it's England, Pakistan, Australia. They've caused trouble. So it is that angle which does provide and gives you that extra kind of nip and zip, which makes batsmen a bit uncomfortable. So it's always good to have that option.
100%. Absolutely, I agree completely.
Yeah, and
Coming to West Indies, I think they'll be upset. I think they'll be pretty disappointed. This is probably right up there with one of their top sides. I think that this is most of these players will play the World Cup or the any of the other series that they have before the World Cup. But I
so
think
Pollard is retired,
completely, yeah, he's gone.
and Ryan is not available for selection.
I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe T20 he is, but they don't want to select him. I don't know what that
Andre
situation
Russell
is.
and Lewis.
Andre Russell probably can make it. Lewis is there. That's true. There are some options. Never mind. I guess they can strengthen, but I don't know what it is. But maybe there are a couple players that can come in, but this is a majority of these guys will still play the that World Cup, you know. So they will be a little upset. They will be a little bit disappointed, you know, that they are not living up to the hype that West Indies always brings, especially with the T20 game. And I feel like if they continue with this kind of performances, then they're really going to struggle again in the World Cup. And again, UAE is not very favorable to them in terms of conditions, so they'll really have to start thinking of how they're going to play this World Cup and start picking players on the basis of that for sure.
Yeah. I look at Myers and he gives me a very excitement kind of feeling. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
he has a lot of potential because he'll
yeah.
provide with the ball as well. Then your middle order, you need them to fire Puran, Powell, and Hetmeyer. That's your
These
cream.
are top players. These are solid players, and they have to give you the runs at 3, 4, and 5. If you can bring these beautiful batsmen in, and then you just add like a Russell at 6, this is a solid side if you really think about it.
I don't know why. I think that the Australian conditions will favor them more than their own home conditions. That's what I
Agreed.
just feel.
I agree because it'll be the batsman. The pace will be on the ball, right?
Yeah.
When there's pace on the ball, I think that they are the best batsmen ever. Okay, I
Yeah.
think they'll play well in England also. Swing also they can manage because not the white ball doesn't swing that much because there will be that carry and that bounce and Australian conditions, New Zealand conditions. I think for sure. I think West Indies and the UAE. I think they're going to struggle in the World Cup. I think that they might do well in the next year's World Cup in the 50 over one. Oh no, never mind. The World Cup is in Australia. Sorry,
In
I
Australia.
completely confused the
Yeah, your
Asia Cup.
Asia Cup they're not playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're not playing the Asia
West
Cup
Indies are
because they're
not in
not in
Asia,
Asia.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Clearly, I had my geography all messed up.
No, no,
So,
I understood why you went there because last World Cup it was in UAE and they
in
struggled.
UAE
So
and they struggled. Never
yeah, even
mind.
if you see in the IPL, the West Indian players are like in India, their averages are completely different. You saw Puran as well in this IPL. He played well for Sunrisers. There's some innings which are class, and
Yeah,
he likes the ball coming onto the bat in that way.
yeah.
And as the
In those
pitches wore down,
Mumbai pitches, yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, as the pitches wore down, then he became his average also went a bit low. So
Yep,
uh,
yep.
they like the pace in the ball, and you need consistency from Nicholas Puran. I think he's a class batsman, extremely talented, but he's just not consistent. But when he
And
hits it,
and and
it's really good to watch. But he doesn't hit
and
like
and till when are you going to support him? You know, I love him, and he adds that extra sense of biasness because he's a Sunriser player now. But at some point, they're going to have to start thinking of like, till when can we give him a chance? You know, there is the talent, there is the
right now.
capability. He's exactly so that means added pressure now. So something has got to give over there. He's
Yeah,
got to score one in 4, 5 games, give them a 50, like you know, something like that. Do something. But I think his inconsistency is going to be it's hard to manage someone with that kind of capability to be so inconsistent.
yeah, 100%.
He reminds me of a Sanju Samson, extreme talent but inconsistent again.
Yep. And Rohit Sharma again, like a lot of people are saying, why don't you criticize him and stuff? And I saw his numbers. I think his average was similar to Virat Kohli's or a bit lower. I'm not
He
sure.
is extremely
But
good, man.
But every couple of games he's been scoring 50, so I think he's improved that average for sure.
Yeah,
Because he scored one in England as well. He scored a
yeah,
70 odd, right?
yeah.
Opposite, and then
And then he's 60 today.
60 today. So he's still there. He's still in form. One thing I noticed that he did gain weight after COVID, which is okay. We all gained. I also gained weight and everything, but
I can't even talk.
but I think he needs because he has injury issues and stuff. He has to shed that.
Yeah,
That is what's going to help him cut these injuries down. I just noticed a bit closer today. I feel that it's still there a bit of that weight, and maybe that's the reason why it's finding it a bit difficult. He's getting older as well, but if he's fit enough, then he can continue. Like he can continue without injuries. I don't think it's affecting his batting. It's just his injuries. Because if you see Sachin Sehwag, none of these guys were fit, so it doesn't really matter. You don't need to be that fit. But I think because he was a certain level of fitness and he's gained in the last couple of years, maybe that's why. But it's not like he's fat or anything like that. He's still a fit player. It's just that he has gained from what he was before.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, but the talent is next level. You happy with his captaincy?
Yeah. I've always been saying Virat the player and Rohit the captain. Always. That's finally happening.
You're happy with this captaincy, and your boy Ashwin bowling really well. Ravi Bishnoi getting the googlies to spin. Jadeja getting to spin. That wicket was very conducive to the pitch. Was very conducive to turn, and if Jadeja is getting it to turn, that means it's going to be difficult to bat on. That's all I can say. But,
True.
but yeah, I really, really want to see Kuldeep Yadav. I understand why Ashwin played instead of him because of the batting, but
And
yeah,
because of Asia Cup, that's it. Nothing else. Asia Cup, they want Asia because the pitches will be conducive to mystery
but
over there
don't
in
if he's playing
UAE.
Asia, if he's playing in Asia Cup, they're going to consider him for the World Cup, not because he can be an option in the power play
With the bat as well. Yeah, yeah. I
and
agree.
the
They
bat.
will consider him. I think he has these two tournaments. I think then they'll slowly start to phase him out because there's no other white ball tournament for a while. I don't think he plays the one day. I think he
Hmm.
plays only T20s. So I think
Yeah.
then they slowly start to phase him out because then age and everything will matter.
Yeah. Don, very quickly, give me your 11 for the World Cup for India.
As of right now,
Starting 11. Yeah.
okay. Rohit, um, you're not gonna like it, but Rohit, Pant, Virat, Sky, Hardik at 5, DK at 6, Jaddu at 7, Ash at 8, Chahal at
Wow.
9, Bumrah at 10, and Bhuvi at 11. Or you can, of course, that
Not
doesn't.
Asia Cup, World Cup.
Oh, in the Australian World Cup. In the
Yeah.
Australian World Cup. Okay, never mind. Uh, I think the top will be same. Jaddu at 7. Um, I have
Instead
a
of
very
Ashwin, are you
it's a
playing Ashwin or are you going with the fast bowler?
no. I think I'll go with Chahal at 8, and then I'll go with three fast bowlers. I'll go Harshal, Bhuvi, and Bumrah.
Yeah. I think the Asia Cup, I kind of agree with you over there, but
Yeah,
there's a couple of changes that would make.
but I
So
think KL is
you're
an
keeping
option
Ken
that
Rahul in Germany.
I'm keeping KL Rahul in Germany. Uh, I can't see how who I'm going to drop for him.
So he missed this one because of COVID, though, right? He's recovered from the injury, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he has COVID now.
Yeah, I think that's why he missed the T20 series. And I
Hmm.
don't know if he's fully recovered from the injury, but I think he's become better because he had the surgery and everything.
Yeah, no, he was in the nets. He was facing Julian Goswami in the nets and everything. So I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
so
he's.
he did get COVID, and that's why he couldn't travel, and
Hmm.
that was the issue. But yeah, I hope to see him in the Asia Cup because if you put him straight into
He'll
the
definitely
T20.
make the. He definitely make the squad.
Also, Don, there is two series against South Africa and Australia and India before the after the Asia Cup, before the World Cup. So that
Yeah.
will also give some time for if Rahul comes back, he can play that if he miss out on the Asia Cup.
Yep. 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 It's going to be
He's a good.
hard though. It's going to be very hard. He'll definitely make the squad though. I think he'll make the 15. I just think that the
He's
11
even
might be a
saying he's
little bit.
making the 11
Yeah.
because you
Yeah. I
need.
think. I think.
I
I
would
think
go
you're
with a
right.
proper opener. Yeah.
I think you're right. But it's the only thing is like either a punt or a Sky miss out then, or a Virat misses out, which is hard to see that.
You know who I really want to see 100% in the Asia Cup in the 11, and then see for keep him option in the T20, Deepak Huda, because he's batting well and he's providing me with the ball. He's giving me that extra 1 or 2 overs. If Hardik gets smashed, if somebody gets smashed, he can bowl in the
But
power play.
Hardik is giving you the extra bowler, right? Hardik is your six bowling
Hardik
option.
is I can't depend on him. Like if he's gonna bowl four, he's gonna bowl one, he's gonna bowl two, and
No, you
also
don't need
fine.
him to bowl four. You need him to bowl
Fine.
only one or two.
Even if he bowls two, three, that's completely fine. But Deepak Huda will provide you that different kind
So
of
in
option.
place of who? In place of Sky?
No,
Then
there's only two options: is the Dinesh Karthik thing, or it's the big man.
the big man cannot be
So
left out.
what if okay, fine. If K Rahul doesn't play,
Yeah.
bump Kohli opening and put Deepak Huda one down.
Yeah, that's an option.
Yeah, and you let Kohli play those nice sixes, and then if he
But
gets
still,
hurt,
punt misses out then.
no, Pant doesn't miss out. DK is not in my team,
Oh,
bro.
DK is not on the team.
Pant doesn't miss out. DK is not in my team, bro. But don't get me wrong. I have nothing against the guy. He's such a sweet guy. He's such a good player and everything. I just like the style that I want to see them play. Again, there's nothing wrong with his style or anything like that. I would just say that I've seen enough of him on big
It's hard.
stages, and he hasn't. He's
I
also
think
it's
it's
also
it's a
unfair.
yeah, it's a personal bias at some point the little bit of the bias comes in. You want a punt over a DK, so that's fair enough.
Yeah, I really want to see Pant. That's number one. And also Dinesh Karthik, I also feel it's not his fault only. When he does get selected for the World Cup, even this World Cup, you're telling me yourself, you're his biggest fan, you're saying that he's not guaranteed in the 11, right? So if he's not guaranteed in the 11, he's going to play 1 or 2 games. Then again, you're playing with his mind. Then if you give him a semi-final match like you did in New Zealand after he missed out most of the group stages, then it's going to be unfair on him as well, right? And that's where I have the problem because you're having DK in the team, he's performing, but you're not giving him the full run. And when he is in the team, you're only using him for 4 overs, 5 overs.
Mm.
Why go with that mindset? Just play him at this slot. Tell him you're batting at this number. It doesn't matter which over it is.
Mm. Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
There are things that Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma will need to think about, but the team is looking in a good space now. I think they've improved that struggling to figure out 11 to now, I guess the options within the 11 are pretty decent now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Don, that pretty much wraps it up. Also in the Commonwealth, Barbados defeated Pakistan. They got help from the West Indian players, but yeah, it is officially known as the Barbados team,
Yeah.
and they did beat Pakistan comfortably. It was a close-ish game, but not maybe not as close as the India Australia game. But yeah, Barbados have won that, so the Commonwealth will continue. It looks like Australia and England will play for that gold medal, but West Indies, India, New Zealand, South Africa still have some chance. But I feel going into that medals matches that, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see uh, some good cricket, some good quality
Absolutely.
cricket. And also Pakistan have lost to Sri Lanka. That's also the latest news. I covered that yesterday.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka made it 1-1. Sana Jayasuriya's son. I'm sorry, he's not his son, but
Prabhat
his name
Jayasuriya.
is Prasid.
Prabhat Jayasuriya.
Prabhat, yeah, Prabhat. Jayasuriya is just unbelievable. This guy was not selected in the team. He was not selected in the B team or the C team. 10 people got COVID, so he was pushed into the team. He picked up 20 wickets against Australia and is picking up like 20
Never
wickets
looked
against.
back. Never looked back.
Yeah. So 3 wickets in the first innings, 5 in the second. Outstanding. Again, I feel that Pakistan, the first Test match, they were incredible. They should. I think they could have lost the series. If it wasn't for Abdullah Shafiq.
Hmm.
But again, in the second Test match, Babar Azam dropping those dollies. And how many times are you going to make excuses saying that, like, yeah, we're a young team? That's not. Rizwan is 30, Babar is 28. These guys are at the peak of their career. So you need to be winning series like this. And yeah, you can say Australia also drew, but Pakistan are more averse to playing spin conditions, playing
Yeah.
in spin conditions. So I think that's something that they will have to work on. And I felt this was their series to win, especially after that first game. They had the confidence.
I agree 100%. I think Pakistan, the inconsistency of the Pakistan cricket team is something that we talk about every time we talk about Pakistan, unfortunately. And it's almost become like a broken record. But yeah, you're saying that some of the players are in the peak of their career now. They have to fix that. They have to figure it out, have to be more consistent. I agree 100%.
Having said that, go back to
Still
the
a
T20.
solid. He's also, but still, Pakistan is always the team that'll excite you. They might disappoint you, but they'll always excite you. So that's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And one thing is, again, he scored a 80 Babar Azam in the second innings. This guy's the best small
Scoring
forward.
for fun, man.
He's the best batsman in all three formats, but he's not the best test batsman right now, if I make kind of sense.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
Joe Root is the best
yeah.
test batsman right now, but Babar Azam is
But
the best all three.
overall, three formats, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Virat
That's
would have
just
been. Virat was in 2019. Virat was that player, but now I think you're right. I
Babar
think
so
Babar
class.
is
And at that time, I think Smith was the best test batsman when Virat
at
Kohli
that
was
time.
at the peak of
Yeah,
his
was the
powers.
all three. Yep, yep,
But
yep,
Kohli
yep.
was all three. That's just my assessment of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unpopular opinion at times, but that's what I
Wait
just
till
feel.
wait till Virat scores a century. Everything's gonna change again.
I'm waiting. I've always been waiting. I'm very patient.
I'm waiting with bated breath now.
I'm waiting. I've been patient. I'm still waiting. But yeah, hopefully he does. And I cannot wait for that Asia Cup. I think Pakistan T20 format in UAE. They're going to enjoy. And they have very very good fond memories. But
Yeah,
again, we saw what happened in the last Asia Cup in the UAE. India were comfortable winners there, so it's going to be a very good contest. And India will look for revenge. Pakistan will look to dominate and try to change this culture of India dominating Pakistan in the last 5-10 years and flip
yeah.
it.
If they do it two in a row, that'll be fun.
That will be crazy. And then they're gonna play in October again. So
And in October again, so three in a row would really kill Indian hopes at that time. But
yeah, I
I,
think.
I, I think I think I'm
Yeah.
back India for this one.
India. I think the next month you'll have those robots or whatever in the nets left arm Shine Afridi. India will be practicing that all day.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
have
for
to be
sure.
practicing. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I'm just looking forward to the cricket that's about to come, especially the Asia Cup, the remaining of the West Indies tour, the Asia Cup, the World Cup, the Australian tour, everything. There's a lot that's happening, so it's
Yeah,
nice.
thank you so much, Don. I think you've really covered it in good detail, and hopefully, I will get you for those games and even in between for the Commonwealth Games. There's a lot of cricket to look forward to. We have the 100 coming up on the 4th of August as well,
Yeah,
so that's an exciting format. So a lot of cricket to chat, and I will continue to chat with you. Hopefully, enjoy the rest of the games, and yeah, it's going to be busy times with the football season also starting. So enjoy.
yeah, for sure.
All right, take care.